In this video, I'm going to cover 5 different rod sleeves, give you 3 reasons why you should use them, talk about 5 different types and brands out there that could save you a big and expensive headache. Can somebody please make the perfect rod sleeve with all the best and right materials to protect our investments? I'm going to throw out $1 million idea out there at the end of this video for some entrepreneur who wants to get rich and give us the best rod sleeve protection possible. Let's go. That's right, today I'm going to give you a few different reasons why you want to use rod sleeves to protect your investment. And it doesn't matter if you've got your Lew's Speed Stick combo with a generic rod sleeve from Walmart or the creme de la creme, the G-Loomis Center X Plus fanciness. But if you've been fishing as long as I have, you accumulate a lot of gear over the years. On this channel, I like to do a lot of rod and reel reviews, so I have rod and reel combos in every price range. It's just something that being an older guy allows me to do. But what that leads me to is why you need to protect your investment no matter how much you invest. Because even if you buy 5 or 6 $30 to $40 rod and reel combos, that adds up in cash really fast over time. A lot of people will pick up these little $6, $7 mesh rod sleeves to protect their rods from throwing them in the back of the truck or in the front seat of their car, minivan, SUV, whatever you got to get you to the water. But there's a few different reasons why we use these to protect our gear. First thing is, like you see here, covering up the guides on this spinning rod. It offers a set of protection from when the rods are bunched together. Like I said, laying in the back of your truck or the front seat of your car, it keeps the blanks from banging off of each other, doing damage to the guide. Reason number 2 is it protects your rods from nicking the line of one of the other rods while you're in transport. If you've got 4 or 5 combos stacked together in your front seat, you don't want them rubbing together and nicking this line on your already previously rigged baits. You want to be able to just get to the water, take the rod sleeve off, unhook the bait, and go fish. So you want to protect the line. Reason number 3, you want to protect the blanks from banging against each other again in transport. And these rod sleeves will help do that, because when you get to the point where you can start investing in higher end gear, you want these to last as long as you can. My brother literally has some G-Loomis rods that he still fishes with to this day that are over 20 years old, because he has taken very good care of his rods and the blanks. And even though he likes still using the mesh covers, it's a level of protection to kind of keep those rods protected from banging into each other and losing the integrity of the blank. Now, when can those blanks really get to banging on each other? Well, if you're a boater and you've got rod tubes, when you stack all those rods in there against each other with no protection whatsoever, you're going to have line getting tangled up, you're going to have guides running into line on other rods, and you're going to go pull one rod out and 4 are going to come out with it. If you've got a Yakima travel box like I've got on my kayak trailer, same thing. My problem is I put mine in there, I take out the little guides that come in there because I need to be able to carry 10 to 15 rods with me when I travel around the country. They end up getting stacked onto each other and bungee down. But if you don't protect them with rod sleeves and actually reel covers in that thing on the road and it's bouncing for 500 miles, you're going to bang the snot out of your rods, reels, everything's going to be tangled up. You need to protect your gear, but this way when you get to your destination, you just open up your box, slide them on out, pull off the cover, and get to fishing. Now I'm going to go through the 5 different types of rod sleeves that I've gone through for the last 6 months to come up and do this review video, talk about the pros and cons of each and the level of protection each provides. So we'll start again with the one that's been around the longest, the good old mesh rod sleeve, $6, $7 at your local Walmart. Ozark Trails everybody makes a rod sleeve. A lot of people have their names on them. Monster Bass does it, Bassmaster does it. Basic level of protection. But again, it does do all 3 things. Protects the blank, protects the guides, protects the line, keeps everything from getting tangled up together. But what this also does is it protects the tip as well from other tips and other obstructions when, like I said, you're putting them in a boat rod locker or something. This will actually let you slide a couple of them in each rod tube. Now, a lot of boaters that I know, they actually rip that whole rod tube system out because they want to be able to stack as many rods in that rod locker as they can. But if it's somebody with a brand new boat and they've only got 10 or so rods rods and they use each of the rod tubes and keep everything perfectly organized and separated, that's cool. I bet by the time they get up to about 40 rods, they're going to take that rod system out and stack them in there like we all do. Now, what are the pits and downfalls of this kind of mesh protection? Well, if you've got crankbait, jerkbaits, spinnerbaits, jig, yes, you're going to get hooks in these, and it's going to get somewhat tangled if you don't cover those treble hooks. I absolutely love these bait sacks. I will use them for jerkbaits, crankbaits, anything with trebles. They're just handy to have for sure. But those treble hooks can get in this mesh. The nice thing is you can actually push the mesh like this and separate it and work the treble hooks out. It could take some effort. It could take some work. It's doable. Again, if you've only got a few lesser expensive combos, this could be an easy, cheap way to go. But again, I won't say cheap, affordable way to go, but to protect your investment, because every time you spend a dime on fishing stuff, you know, you want to protect it and make it last as long as it can. And I love these loose speed sticks when I'm running around the creeks and whatnot, because when I fall down, and I will fall down, you know, combos like this, if I break it, I can go get another one for pretty affordable. Now, next up is the TRC rod covers, and it's actually a company I used to work with, but the owners retired, and I just found this out recently, but I still want to talk about them because there's some innovation here that I want to talk about that's, you know, the next step up from the regular mesh rods. You can see here, they've got like a solid band that goes around. It keeps this open for easier sliding off and on, and I use these as my daily on the go. If I'm just going to my local lake to do a day of yak fishing, and I'm not going to throw them in the Yakima rod box, I will grab the 5 or 6 rods I plan on using, throw these TRC covers on them, and they go in the front seat rigged and ready to go with the bait sacks, of course, covering the baits. But the thing I like about these, they're just easy on and off. I mean, I'm ready to fish right now. You know, it's just that fast and simple. Threw that a little farther than I thought I did. But what I like about them too, at the end of the day when I'm done, you see how this opening is like this. It's easy for me just to slide this on and it just boom, and it's ready to go. Now, look at this tip. This is kind of fancy. Let me focus on this. This actually protects the tip inside. It's hollow, but the cool thing about this part of it is it's rigid and it floats. So if I had the little elastic band on here, I can actually connect this to the reel, and if this came off my kayak, this would float because this tip would be sitting at the top of the water. But that's the TRC covers mesh cover, my absolute favorite for day-to-day transportation. So again, these are really good if you can still find them. I'm sad that they retired, but I'm happy for them because they retired. Next, we're going to talk about G-Sox. These are really popular. One of the things I've always said was I wanted somebody to come up with a way to cover the baits that I had pre-rigged so that they wouldn't get hung up and caught and stuck together. And G-Sox actually did that. You got the mesh material, so again, easy on and off. Different type of tip protector. The tip doesn't go up into this like the TRC cover did. I wish it did. Oh, actually, I'm wrong. It does. The tip actually slides up into this. Good to know. I'm happy for that. Now, the innovation for this mesh cover is this plastic tube on the G-Sox. Look at there. Imagine that chatterbait being a jerkbait. Yeah, cover it up, cover the trebles. Now, the thing is, they actually... These do have the little straps, so when you throw them in your cars and everything together, makes it really nice. One of the cons, I'm gonna give you guys the pros and cons to each of these, so you'll understand what I think about each one of these, so when you make a decision which way you want to go, you're gonna have the full information. These actually come with a little rubber grommet seal thing that goes around here that's a protector from this hard plastic from beating against your reel, but they're not glued on, so they come off, and I'm not going to keep playing the try to wedge it back on over and over and over again. G-Sox, that's some feedback to you. That's something I'd like to see. Now, one of the cons with the mesh material, there's a pro in the fact that, yeah, you can stretch it out, and if you get a treble hook in there, you can pull it out pretty easily. The problem with this is if these get to banging around, smaller micro guides can poke through this. Oh, I really don't like that. I don't like that at all, especially when I got 15 rods stacked up on top of each other. That for me is a con. But again, if you're into the mesh and you're just throwing them in your front seat, you're not doing long trips like I am where I'm throwing them in the Yakima rod box, that doesn't apply to you. If they're just going in the back of your truck, they're going in your front seat, these mesh ones are just fine. But for those of us who travel and you got a lot of high dollar rods, you want to protect them best you can, because I tell people if you're wanting to get into a little bit higher end game, each year what I do, and what I've done this for the last several years, is each year I will save up and I will put together one technique specific rod and reel combo. And if I'm looking to go go like into the next level, then that's what I'll do. I invest the most in what I fish the most, and that's a bladed jig, some finesse techniques. So not everything I have is super high end. The things that I need the most sensitivity with is where I generally spend them up. But that being said, I want to protect them the best I can. Really like the G-Sox. One of the other downfalls I have to it, if I'm trying to slide this sleeve on in a hurry, on more than one occasion, I've had the tip come through this material and poke out. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. So then I have to sit there and super finesse it down. But for me, that's one of the things that I shouldn't have to do with a mesh, because the TRC cover spoiled me. They were so good. But again, next level bait protection, and this literally keeps all your stuff away from each other. Covers your treble hooks, covers your jig hooks, Texas rig, everything. You can be ready to go. Jerk bait, slide it off, boom, hit the water, go. You're ready to go right away. So that's the G-Sox. These are really cool, these are really nice. But another piece of feedback for G-Sox, and as a word of caution, if you step on them, you know, you can break them. Oops. If you step on them, you can break them. And I'm not gonna lie, when I'm getting ready if I'm getting ready to fish in the morning and I'm coming up on lines in time, I'm literally sliding these covers off, throwing them on the ground as fast as I can, putting my rod into my Yak Attack rod holders, and then I will come back and gather all these up and throw them in my box. But it inevitably means I will step on things, and this is not the most durable plastic. So while these are cool and they're nice and they keep each other separated, if you step on them, yeah, they will crack and break. If they're just banging around against each other in the Yakima rod box, I've done 2 tourneys with these so far, and they were perfect. This was me stepping on it. This was my fault. I get that, but that's just a level of feedback. Maybe something a little more durable. I don't know. Maybe you don't want to step on something like this and then roll and bust your ass and break your ankle before your derby day starts. But again, just, you know, little something, little heads up. Next in line, the Live to Fish covers. And you've seen several types of these. I've done reviews on the Upriver, the 6 Cents, this type of rod sleeve. They're all very similar. They're made of a durable, I think, neoprene material to really, really, really protect the rods. You can sit here and try to get a treble hook in it. You won't do it. This is next level protection for your higher end stuff. Again, easy on and off. They've got reinforced openings down here on the bottom, easy to slide on, adjustable straps. And with these actually attached to your rod, you can take and throw these in the water and they will float. Are you gonna go throw your rods in the water? No. But if you're a kayak angler, you fish a lot of rivers, matted up grass, anything can happen anytime. That's a cool feature, but it's completely irrelevant to anything I would be doing, because if I'm anywhere near the water, these are already left in the trailer, and I'm on the water without the covers on them because I'm ready to fish and go fishing. I'm not, you know, dealing with these. Now, if you're in a boat, it makes sense because you're gonna have these on. If you set one off to the side and it falls over and you got the cover on, boom, you're good. But again, why did I go with the Live to Fish? Freedom Squad, baby. Look at that, red, white, and blue. If I was gonna pick out of all the different ones out there and somebody made one in the old glory colors, you know Gramps got to go with this. But these type from 6 Cents, Upriver, Live to Fish, several different types, high quality, neoprene, next level protection. Now let's go for maximum. Next up, the creme de la creme, the cream of the crop, and the most expensive, I think, of all of them, even though you can find deals on all these, and I will link all of these down in the description below. These are the Rod Protect, and I actually have one of these for every rod and reel combo that I fish with. These are what my combos go into when I'm doing long range transport. If they're going in that Yakima box, they're going in this. This is the highest level of protection I can put on my gear, and they actually make these. You can send in the measurements, and they actually make the reel covers that come down and cover the bait caster. I actually have one. I just don't know where I stuck it. It's still in the man cave somewhere. But again, Rod Protect, neoprene, I mean complete tip-to-tip protection. But let me talk about some of the other features of this that are a little bit next level, but then a couple of little things that I need them to fix. So here's my Fenwick World Class jerkbait rod and my Megabass jerkbait. I'm just gonna hook that to the reel because, no, actually I'll do it as if I was ready to deploy it. I will hook that on the hook keeper. So again, let's say I wanted to have all my stuff rigged and ready to go for the next tournament day. I'm gonna wrap my line around the guides, and then we're left with this. We wanna protect the blank and that bait, and most certainly all 3 sets of those treble hooks. Well, let me show you something.
Alrighty then. Gotcha, bitch. Let me show you something.
First of all, how would I know it's my jerkbait cover? Well, it's labeled 6'10" medium because that's what it is. Well, actually it's 6'10" moderate. But check this out. It's built to have the opening like the others. It's got the strap for connecting to the reel. And notice this one is measured specifically for this one. Again, Rod Protect. So it will run all the way down. I'll show you that for a minute, but let me show you the game changer in this one. What? A built-in bait sack inside the cover? What? One of my negatives, that's not really a negative, I gotta go a lot slower when feeding this on because this is like some heavy duty protective neoprene material, and so I have to feed it on slowly. But no specific rod tip protection up here, but it is nice and thick. So when I get down here and I close this Velcro, and I put the little loop over the reel. Check that out. My my jerkbait rod is ready to go. Just undo my loop. I can slide this off and I'm ready to fish. I've only got one complaint for this one for Rod Protect. This plastic right here really should run outside of this to the other side. Kind of like that. Like this, and the reason why is sometimes when you go to slide that jerkbait out like I just did, that treble hook will catch this right here. How do I know? Because that nick right there is where that treble hook was, and another one right here. So instead of it being super fast that day, I had to cut that jerkbait off and leave it in the truck because I was in a hurry to get on the water, but you know, I always carry extras with me. But that being said, that's my only feedback is this stitching, that problem needs to be solved. That plastic needs to come around on this side, and that way anytime anything slides out of this, those treble hooks can't catch it. But I'll tell you what, I recently used these to go to the Susquehanna River to fish the Kayak Bassmaster event a few weeks ago, and these are what I had on when I traveled. And then my TRC covers went on when I was throwing them in the truck and moving from spot to spot, because when I'm trying to jump spots, I'm trying to be fast and efficient and quick. During the tournament day, if you got to pick up and get your stuff on your trailer and move, you want something fast and quick. So these are what I use for the long haul, these Rod Protect covers in the Yakima box. And since you learn something for every different tournament that you go to, I learned about LIV fishing rod covers from my good friend Brian, who I was fishing with out there in Pennsylvania, and he turned me on to these what I'm calling the Freedom Squad edition rod covers from Live to Fish, or Live Fishing I think it is. I'll link it down below. But these will be my quick trip, throw them on the rods into the front seat of the truck when I'm hopping spots, or my day-to-day. Which is the best? That depends on your budget, your needs. I hope this video actually helps you determine what would suit your needs. But now you see a few different types to choose from, what's out there, what's available, and my two choices. Now, are they expensive? Yep. But is my gear expensive? Yes. And getting another 5 years, 10 years out of each one of those combos is worth it to me to invest a little bit. These, I think you buy 6, you get 2. These, I think if you buy a bunch, you get a bunch off. I'll link everything up. You can see what the latest sales are too. But I invested quite a bit in these because I've invested quite a bit into my gear, and I want to protect it and make it last as long as possible. Unlike my dumbassery earlier where I left all my rods leaned up against my box and my cat knocked them all over onto the ground. Any comments or questions, drop them down below. What rod sleeves do you like? Did I miss any other reasons why you should be protecting your rods? Protect your rods. Protect your investment, ladies and gentlemen. Is there a different type of rod sleeve out there that I missed and didn't cover that's different from these technologies? Let me know and I'll check it out. If you want the best affordable rod sleeves, if you can still find them out there on the market, the TRC covers, phenomenal mesh. They are my absolute favorite mesh of all of them. All right, we're at the end of the video. What's my $1 million idea for the best rod sleeve protection there is? It's really simple. Combine these two. Somebody, please. A neoprene sleeve cover to protect the line, the guides, the blank, the tips, but with one of these tubes a little bit harder so that you can see through, see your baits, protect them, keep them from getting tangled against each other. Tell me tell me, I'll buy them. I'll buy them, and so will a million other people who invest in rods and reels. I guarantee you, somebody, please take this and make it happen. The sun's going down. I gotta edit. If you like videos like this, please give it a thumbs up. It helps YouTube promote it to other people looking for content like this. Subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. Bang that bell icon so you get notified whenever I upload a new video. As always, get outside when you can and make some memories, one cast at a time.